What's up everybody, FrostyRandom here. Been a while since I last uploaded, but we're in another draft league. Welcome to Nova's Bacon Battalion League, otherwise known as the NBBL. And welcome to the draft analysis for your Tuscaloosa Toxic Chains. So, this is coming off our disappointing UMPL run. I got invited to this league by Nova Exploiter himself. Thank you for inviting me and allowing me to join this league that has some fantastic coaches that come from NBBL for last season, and most notably a lot from UMPL Academy continuing on. People like Jarl the King, Nuglo, Dashing Sceptile, Umbra the Guardian, etc. Both from Kitakami and Blueberry, and I will be excited to face whoever I face in this season. Now, let's get to the draft analysis all together. First, let's start with our first pick. Iron Valiant, nicknamed LA Knight. Yeah! So here we go. You see I have this slide prepared here for Iron Valiant. You know how this mon works. It doesn't need much of an introduction. It's a mega star in the draft world. But let's give it a bit of an introduction and a bit of a rundown anyway. So we got the notable moves tab here. We got stab moves, close combat, moonblast, spirit break, aura sphere, vacuum wave, reversal. We got some of the notable stabs. You don't need every single one listed. Coverage. This thing gets both the coverage of Gallade and the coverage of Gardevoir, with some extras like liquidation in there. But I have down here Fire Punch, Ice Punch, Thunder Punch, Knock, Shadow Sneak, Shadow Ball, and Psyshock. Get some really good coverage overall that help a team. Boosting gets Calm Mind, Sword Stance, and Agility. All three of them very good. Agility is a bit more of a niche one though. Then for status moves, it gets Encore, which is extremely good. It gets T-Wave, which you don't see much. Destiny Bond, which you see on booster speed sets. Taunt, Hypnosis, Metronome, and Psycho. Metronome, more for fun, and Psycho. Psycho is just interesting, in case we want to stop a setup sleeper with it. But yeah, there's not much of a need to introduce this mega star to the audience. So let's introduce you all to our second pick. Ting-Lu, otherwise known as Ting General, the Ring General, the Field General, if you will, the Ting General. Ting-Lu, this hulking, menacing, defensive monster. It's been in the game since the beginning. You know how this Pokemon works if you've used it. A fantastic defensive presence for our team, and a really good offensive presence with enough investment as well. Let's get into this slide though with its notable stabs. Earthquake, Stomping Tantrum, Throat Chop, Ruination, Payback, and Snarl are the main ones we're going to be focusing on. Mostly Earthquake, Throat Chop, and Payback in terms of actual attacks. Ruination can be pretty good too depending on the step. Coverage. We got Body Press, Heavy Slam, Stone Edge, Rock Slide, and Zen Headbutt. There's no boosting, but for status we've got Stealth Rocks, Spikes, Whirlwind, Memento, Taunt, and Rest Talk, otherwise known as the combination of Rest and Sleep Talk. This Pokemon is a fantastic presence for us and will give us the nice aggressiveness that we need on this team. Next, let's get into our third pick of this draft and our first Terra Captain. Say hello to Gyarados. The Bad Gyara, as a play on the bad guy, Razor Ramon. This is our first Terra Captain with the Terra types of Flying, Ground, and Grass. Gyarados been in the game since Gen 1, been the same since Gen 6 really. Of course, now it doesn't have Bounce to work with, but for its main flying stat, we have Terra Fly. We can run Terra Blast. Along with some other stats, we have Waterfall specifically, But with some more niche ones, we have Aquatail, Scald if we want to run a more defensive set, and Hydro Pump. Just cuz. The coverage is really where this Pokemon shines though. We got moves like Earthquake, Crunch, Ice Fang, Iron Head, Stone Edge, Outrage, Temper Flare, Scale Shot. And then for special sets, we got Hurricane and Thunderbolt. Definitely not the worst you can get. Got Dragon Dance for boosting, and that's all this needs for a physical set. For status moves, we got Taunt, Thunder Wave, Roar, and Substitute. This Pokemon will come in, intimidate you, and then show off its Moxie as it sweeps through your team. But next, let's get into our fourth pick. Let's have some sweet dreams. Jirachi, nicknamed Dusty for Dusty Roads. Very good Pokemon overall for this draft. Another nice base 100 stats across the board. So it can work physical, it can work special, it can work utility. We do need a bit of all three, so why not grab a Pokemon that can do all three of those effectively? And you'll see this looks like a wall of text. It kinda is. This won't be the one you won't like it, but let's do this. We got the Wishmaker, the Dreammaker, Dusty, the Jirachi. With its stabs of Iron Head, Zen Headbutt, Doom Desire, Expanding Force, Meteor Dash, Psychic, Psychic Noise, and Psyshock. Some really good stabs there for Steel and Psychic. Notably with Serene Grace, the Iron Head, Zen Headbutt, and Meteor Mash combo are really good. But then we got its coverage. We got guys like Lillian, Drain Punch, Force Spear, Ice Punch, Fire Punch, U-Turn, Play Rough, Shadow Ball, and Thunderbolt. Some also really good secondary effect moves to work with its ability of Serene Grace. We got boosting in Iron Defense, Calm Mind, and Amnesia. I said Iron Defense and Calm Mind in the wrong order, but it's fine. And it doesn't have any agility, but a nice weakness policy set with a defense boost. Then we have its status moves. Baton Pass, Encore, Healing Wish, Normal Wish, dual screens, and Reflect Light Screen and Stealth Rock. Pokemon provides a lot of utility for this team overall and works really well with my light. Especially this next pick that we have here, our fifth pick. Why don't we get a little toxic? Ensure Runs, Dirty Dominic. Not much else to say about that nickname. Let's just get a little toxic in here. Let's spread a little poison. So, they let me draft the mascot. Hecharunt with our fifth pick in this draft. Kind of an insane steal this late, but we can definitely, with it for 13 points overall, this is a major steal. Now, let's really get into this. We've got stabs of Malignant Chain, Hex, Shadow Ball, and then on the physical side, Poltergeist and Gunk Shot, and Venoshock, just in case we want to roll with that double poison stab. For coverage, you only get Foul Play and Roll Out. That's literally all you get. Do you think that you don't even really need that most of the time? But it's good nonetheless. This thing really thrives off its later move pool. Boosting, we've got Nasty Plot, Defense Curl, and Withdrawal. Defense Curl Rollout is a very interesting strat you could try with this thing. I don't think you should, but it'd be fun. And then for status moves, where this Pokemon really shines. We got Recover, Toxic, Memento, Curse, Destiny Bond, Substitute, I spelled Substitute wrong, Endure, and Imprison. Not much else to really say about this Pokemon other than it's gonna get a little toxic, and we're gonna spread a little bit of poison. Now, let's get into our second and final Terra Captain, and our next pick, who some would like to refer to as Meow. We've got Zarina, Our second and final Terra Captain with the Terra types of Grass, Fire, and Fairy. Zarina here provides pretty good utility and a nice physical offense with a bit of a lower speed stat, but a bit tankier for this team. For notable moves for Mommy here, we have Power Whip, Seed Bomb, Drop Kick, Pedal Blizzard, Trailblaze, and Grassy Glide. For the coverage, we've got Triple Axle, Rapid Spin, Knockoff, Acrobatics, High Jump Kick, Low Kick, Play Rough, U-Turn, Zen Headbutt, and Fling. You can always try a Fling strat. Boosting, you have Acupressure, one of the most interesting and fun moves in the game that Smogon might ban eventually. We have no clue. For status, it's a short list, but it's pretty good. Taunt, Reflect, Light Screen, and Synthesis. Synthesis can be pretty good for keeping your tanky Zarinas alive. But let's go away from Mommy, and let's go to my favorite women's wrestler on the WWE roster. Next, with our 7th pick, we've got Florges, nicknamed Liv for Liv Morgan. That is the reason why I'm not running a white Florges, is because this is based on my favorite women's wrestler in the entire WWE, Liv Morgan. Now, let's get into everything else regarding Live Forever here. We got the notable stab moves: Moonblast, Trading Kiss, Burning Voice, and Misty Explosion. A short list, but you only really need the first two. So of its coverage, we got Chilling Water, Giga Drain, Energy Ball, Grass Knot, Psychic Noise, Psychic, Store Power, and Pollen Puff. Did not know I got Pollen Puff until I was researching it more. Boosting, you only need Calm Mind. That's the only one you're going to be using. And then for status moves, we've got some interesting status moves: Baton Pass, Light Screen, Substitute, Synthesis, Trick, Wish, Charm, and Metronome to have some fun. Of course, this pick will live forever, but let's get into our next pick. Someone that I really should watch more of, and it's a fantastic game. But he's the top guy on Tuesday nights, I believe, so that's on now. Our 8th pick is Noivern, named Dragunov. Noivern, named after Ilya Dragunov here. A very good especially offensive Pokemon that is the fastest Pokemon on our team outside of anything with a Scarf or Booster Valiant. Of course, this provides very good speed, provides some good speed control with stuff like Tailwind, and can provide a really good special breaker if we put a Specs on this thing, or Throat Spray even. But let's get into the actual notable moves I have listed down here. For its stabs, we have Air Slash, Hurricane, Dual Wing Beat, Acrobatics, Draco Meteor, Dragon Pulse, and Dragon Claw. The reason I say that the physical stabs are notable is because it gets Dragon Dance as one of its boosting moves, as well as the other being Agility. For coverage, we've got the classics of Boom Burst and Flamethrower. We got some ones not seen as much: Dark Pulse, Focus Blast, Psychic, Psychic Noise, U-Turn is very common as well, Shadow Ball, and Super Fang. If you want to be annoying with Super Fang, we definitely can. For status moves, it's got Defog, Roost, Moonlight, Whirlwind, Taunt, Switcheroo, Tailwind, and Substitute. You see a whole lot of substitutes on this team. Substitute's a pretty common move to begin with. But let's go away from NXT, and let's get back to the legendary roster. With our 9th pick, we have Entei. By God, it's Kane! I will make sure to play that during the video. But we have Kane the Entei. I hadn't had a fire type yet, and I was looking at that board. And this looked really good as a fire type. Now, let's get into its notable moves as we can run this both physical and special. stabs, we got Sacred Fire, Eruption, Flame Charge, Flamethrower, Fire Blast, Orbital Beat, and Flare Blitz. It's got some pretty good coverage, but you're not going to need it as much. Crunch, Iron Head, Extreme Speed, Stomping Tantrum, Facade, Extra Sensory, Scorching Sands, Shadow Ball, and Stone Edge. For boosting, we don't have any physical boosting moves, but we do have Calm Mind and Agility. And then for status, we got Will-O-Wisp, Roar, Rest, and Swagger. Swagger is listed there in case you want to go with a Swagger Mirror strat, which we definitely do. Now, moving on from the mayor of Town Tracy, which one? And moving on from mid-90s, and moving on from late 90s ads here. Let's move on to the legendary era. Let's get a bit slippery. With our 10th pick, we have Damien the Electros. Damien was the name of Jake the Snake's Robert's snake. And of course, I know this is an eel, but there's no eels in WWE, and I'm not going and naming it something weirder, so we're naming it Damien. Now moving on from that, let's get into its crazy move list. So, for notable stabs, we've got Supercell Slam, Discharge, Thunder, Thunderbolt, Volt Switch, Thunder Punch, and even Charge Beam if we decide to get interesting with an Assault Vest, with a special Assault Vest set. Now for coverage, we got U-Turn, Drain Punch, Throat Chop, Close Combat, Dragon Claw, Dragon Pulse, Fire Punch, Flamethrower, Knockoff, Giga Drain, Liquidation, and Zen Headbutt. This thing gets absolutely insane coverage, gotta thank Uno for that. And I would not have it any other way with this Pokemon. It can fill both the physical and special offense roles extremely well, as well as having no weaknesses due to being pure electric with Levitate. Now for boosting, you have two physical boosting options, Coil and Bulk Up. You're more than likely just going to see Coil because it improves move accuracy, and that could be really good with some other moves that it has that aren't fully activated. Then for status, you only have Thunder Wave and Endure. This thing is really just going to be a slow offensive Pokemon, but I am perfectly okay with that, as it's just what I want. Now, let's get to our last pick. And with this being a 1-point Pokemon, you won't see it. Much at least. With our 11th and final pick, we have C-Nation the Glimmet. Thank you, Lantern, for suggesting this name. It is very ironic. Now, outside of being the literal Super Cena of Pokemon, C-Nation the Glimmet, it will not be seen much. But let's move on to its actual needed information. Some notable stabs that Glimmet here has include Meteor Beam, Power Gem, Sludge Bomb, Mortal Spin, Sludge Wave, Ancient Power, and Venoshock once again, with its combination of Toxic Debris and Venoshock. That could be pretty good if we keep it around for later game, even though it's fairly slow. For some coverage, it doesn't have as much as Glimmora with the likes of Earth Power, but it has Dazzling Gleam, Explosion, and Mudshot. Still some pretty interesting moves nonetheless. Now, for boosting, it gets Rock Polish, Iron Defense, and Acid Armor. Quickness policy to eliminate one. Moving on from that, we got some of its status moves which made it good. We got Toxic, Stealth Rocks, Spikes, and Memento. The one I didn't list there is Toxic Spikes because it has Toxic Debris to automatically set those, but it has the move as well in case you want to run Corrosion with it. But that should be it for the NBBL draft analysis. This is our team of 11. This is who we win with for bragging rights for this league. And I tell you what, I am going to play my heart out to win this league. We got the Megastar leading the team in LA Knight. We've got C-Nation behind our backs. We've got Kane for a random run-in. We've got two of the best women's wrestlers of today. We've got some classic heels, classic faces. We have a snake. We have everything we need to win this league. And I hope we will. In fact, I'm confident we will. Now, I'd like to thank you all for watching, and please tune in further within this season. I know Nova has already released a video regarding this season. Don't know why he did it so early, but it doesn't matter nonetheless. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all next time. This is FrostyRandom, coach of the Tuscaloosa Toxic Chains, signing out.